I guess, similar to that 6-month exploration phase that I did before settling on nuclear, it was kind of similar in the initial months once I mentally committed. So I had this spreadsheet and I just started to meet people in nuclear. And I think to date, it's like got 400 people on it. So just always try to keep track of what I'm learning and who I'm talking to. But I guess the earliest kind of questions I was asking was like, okay, coming at this as a industrialist or from the business side, what are the big risks that need to be addressed? It seems like, like I said before, advanced reactors do have the potential to be more economical while maintaining that level of safety. But they have this catch-22 that we talked about already with the licensing. This is really this elephant in the room. Like if you look at all the advanced reactor companies, some have kind of made great progress, but it's an unfortunate reality that no one yet has been approved. And obviously it's a complex issue, but this is one of the reasons why it hasn't happened yet. After many, many meetings, this is one of the most exciting moments is when I came across the Marvel reactor from Idaho National Lab. So it's really interesting. Essentially, it's going to be the first new microreactor built in the US in decades. It's being built at Idaho National Lab. It's a government project. If you look at kind of the history of nuclear, like I said before, the first atomic age was those 52 reactors built at the National Lab, INL, in the 50s and 60s. It went down to 3, and Marvel is going to be the first new one, which will hopefully be ushering in a number of other reactors thereafter. Just to give you a bit of detail about it, it's an advanced reactor. It uses liquid metal as the coolant. Most reactors today use water as the coolant. Liquid metal is cool because it takes the heat away really fast. So if you touch a metal, it feels cold because it's taking heat from your hand quickly. And what that means is you can have a more powerful reactor be much smaller. When it's smaller, but it's achieving the same power output, that should tell you the economics can be better. That's one thing, is economically it should be good. And then secondly, it uses a fuel called uranium zirconium hydride. And this is a fuel also known as TRIGA fuel, which is commonly used in university research reactors. It's really inherently safe, which is why it's used in these research reactors around campus, which students operate. They don't even have like a big concrete dome. Like there's no hint that it's there, like you said.
Just looks like a normal office building.
Yeah. A big part of what enables that is this really cool property of the fuel. If you think about how you can make things safe, this can happen at different scales. So when you kind of make things safe at a big scale, like an engineering scale, like put a big concrete dome over something, that's one thing. But you can also make things safe at a much smaller scale on, I guess, what you'd consider like a physics scale. And this fuel is able to do that because it has a strong, what's called Doppler effect. The hotter the fuel gets, in other words, if it were to approach a meltdown, the less reactive it gets. So it kind of inherently shuts itself off. Now, why hasn't this been used in commercial power generation? Well, it doesn't really pair that well with water because it's a bit finicky, so it would shut itself off too easily. But with liquid metal fuel, it takes the heat away really quickly, which means not only do you get that great power density, which should be great for economics, but it also is great for safety.